Hey kids, and welcome to the show. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about tribes and how to build your tribe. We are talking about homesteading and creating a life for yourself that is going to be productive for you and for generations to come. So that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about starting to move towards your goals and creating an environment that is going to make you succeed. And how do we do that? We do that by going down to the little bar and smashing that like button. Subscribe, ring the bell, and if you think this stuff is cool, shoot a share. Now you guys know I talk about a bunch of different things. And one of the things I love to talk about is people and relationships and how we need to rise up and actually do things that are going to be positive for us and the people around us. Well, that is the unfortunate dilemma, because oftentimes the people around us aren't chosen by us. There are different factors and different things in our life that are going to keep us from being able to be around just the people we want to be. Most of those factors are economic. Some of them are education. Some of them are as simple as proximity. Proximity meaning you're close to that person. Some people are thrust into your lives and some people you run after. So what do you need in your life to be successful in whatever you do? Whether it's starting a small business, whether it's just having a family, or it's moving forward and actually building something, doing something, build some culture, something. So what am I doing out here yelling at a camera? Well, what I'm doing is I'm trying to give a new perspective to different things in life that we've had to experience. And our perspective has to come from a place of finding joy through sorrow. Now, I'm in the process of writing a book. The book is called Father, Husband, Dad. And it is going to be timeless isms for me to share with my kids. In the meantime, as I'm getting to those isms, the isms being our fundamentalisms, our churchisms, and there's a lot of isms out there that aren't good, but some of them are good. So let's talk about how I'm communicating my values with my kids. And it's with this book. This book will be timeless information. Some of it gets in a book and some of it doesn't. Some of it just gets here on YouTube. So if you like what you're seeing here, I'm hoping the book will be even better. However, we have to keep moving on. So why am I talking about the book? Well, the book for me is all about what I needed growing up, advice-wise. Advice-wise, my childhood was pretty weird, and some things may come out later, but for right now, let's just say it was a non-traditional childhood, and I didn't have a dad in the house. I had uncles, didn't have a dad, and I saw a big problem when I started having children myself, in that there are a lot of fathers not in the home. So I decided I'm going to share some of my experience, my education, and some of my journey with the people on this channel. And I say that because as I've been journeying across the world, because I've really been able to travel the world, I've noticed something that people have in common. The happiest people are not chasing things. So I started to find out what the happiest people chase. And the things that the happiest people chase are the things that they love to do. Whether that be cooking, or building a rocket to space, or doing math, doing accounting. Whatever it is that's your passion, people get into that and they start to do really well. So what did I do? Well, I never knew what my passion was going to be, but I always liked to hustle. I recall, when I was learning how to play guitar. This is really fun. Teach basic guitar, so I put a little notice up at the church and got the cry room at the church, and I went in there once a week and I taught guitar. It's like 20 bucks for an hour. It was a lot of money. And this kid was horrible. I wasn't so great, but this kid was not doing so well. I'm not sure what happened to this kid. Maybe he's the lead singer for some band now. But he was not doing well. And I went to his mom and I said, "Ma'am, I've been teaching your child to play guitar for 4 weeks." Because I'd been also learning how to play guitar. So basically I learned something, I teach it to him. But I was practicing. And I said, he's just not practicing. He's not going to get any better because he's not practicing. He has to practice. He has to practice. And she said, "Yeah, I know." And I was like, "Ma'am, I don't want you not to get your money's worth. I don't want to take your money. If he's not learning, I'm not teaching him." And this lady said something very profound to me. She said, "Willie, I know he's not learning anything. He's probably never going to learn the guitar. But he's in a safe place with you, and my husband and I can go pray or do whatever we need to do for an hour. And it's well worth paying you $20 for an hour." She said, "We used to pay a sitter $10 an hour, and he didn't have an opportunity to be around a cool kid. So, me being a little older and me teaching him something was the value." And so I said, "Hey, I can teach." So I decided that's what I was going to start doing. And I started with religion, and I went to school, and then I went to the Army, and I decided to do religion in the Army, and it was a really awesome experience, but I taught myself how to do these things. And throughout my life, I would teach myself to do something, and while I was teaching myself to do it, I was teaching others, because I found out really early on that the easiest way to learn something well is to teach it to someone else. And so I did. I spent my life trying to teach things to other people. So in doing that, I have gained a lot of skills. A lot of really cool skills. Some that are very valuable. Like, I am a plumber. I am an electrician. I am a carpenter. I was going to say I used to be a software coder, but I can't do any of that now. But I used to know how to do, I could read a little HTML. I knew enough about everything to get myself into trouble. I'm bilingual. I can speak a little Spanish. Not a lot, but I can speak enough to make someone feel comfortable that I am trying to communicate on a different level. So it's that idea of Pentecost. And for me, what Pentecost taught me was you have to speak the language of the people that you're teaching. So you have to build this tribe around you that speaks the same language as you. But it's really scary when you're not sure what your language is. And right now in our country, in the United States, we have this really divisive political parties that are just breaking families apart. Which is really crazy, because why does it matter? But they've created this division. And yet, if we step back and realize that our families are more important, and we need to build relationships with those around us and be something good to them, our nation's going to have a hard time coming back from what we are experiencing right now. It's not as simple as just say, "Hey guys, play nice," because nobody's playing nice. And actually, I take that back. Most people are playing nice. But if you're watching the news, wherever you land on your political spectrum, you are getting fed the idea that the other side is not playing nice. And the truth is neither side is playing nice. They're all politicians, and they all lie, and they always have. That's how they get elected. The problem is now we have access to information that we didn't have before. And that's why it sounds so crazy when you have Fox News saying one thing and CNN saying the exact opposite. And it's not because of any other reason, but then they were put there to divide the country. Excuse me. They were put there to divide the country. So now they have succeeded, and the country is splitting further and further apart. And then we've got these small content creators, and some of them are very good, some of them not so good. But they have their followers, and then they're leading things into what could be in a not positive direction. So then you have content creators like me that have gotten sucked up into this political BS. And the reason I say that is because I started this channel. I was originally called the Third String Pundit. And I started this channel thinking I want to let my kids know what I think about politics, because I have a lot of opinions. I have a lot of experience. I was in some rooms at one time, and I have some great stories to tell. One day I will tell those stories. Some of them have already been told. But the point is, I wanted my kids to know what I was thinking about the current state of politics. And then things happened where people just started attacking the messengers. And then it got to the point where both sides were blatantly lying, and then whenever I would try to put anything out that was fact-checked and all that stuff, it would get banned, or I'd get a strike. And mind you, this isn't just about the vaccine information, but this is just about anything. And there are true algorithms that follow what we say. I don't do subtitles on my YouTube videos, so go down there, click on subtitles. You'll see them. They're not perfect. I don't do those. So they know what's being said in the YouTube videos. So recognize that you have to learn to read between the lines. And if you're talking about politics right now, you have to talk in code. So I'm not talking politics. I'm talking surround yourself with people that make you better. So think about if you were creating a village. That village maybe needs a chaplain. I would be a chaplain. That's what I would say. I'm going to start a village. I'm going to be a chaplain. Oh my goodness, I'm going to need a plumber. Well, I am a plumber, but I don't want to do plumbing. So I'm going to hire somebody that can do plumbing. I know if they're good or not because I know how to do it. See, but I don't have to do that job. And then I'm going to say, well, I can teach you about theology. I can teach you about philosophy. I could teach you about economics. I could teach you about religion. I could teach you about a lot of things. But I can't teach you how to read, kids. I'm going to need a teacher. So guess what? I'm going to find myself a really good teacher, or communicate with my teachers. My teachers know my first name. My teachers know my wife's first name. Our kids' teachers. We communicate with them very well. So we make sure that we have them within our tribe. We consider our children's teachers people within our tribe. Couldn't do that in the city. We can do that here. Because when they're a part of our tribe and we're involved in their life, if they say something that we don't agree with, let's say on a religious level for some reason, it's a conversation. It's not a, oh my gosh, you're evil. So then you need to find a doctor. You need to find a medic. You need to find those things that are important to you. And then you find out that when you look at your 10 closest people, your 10 closest friends, that you are the average of them. You're going to make the average income that they all make. You're going to be the average person they all are. You're going to be the average absolute everything. Okay, I apologize if there's a weird cut right there. No, I don't really apologize. Just let you know that Rachel was actually outside walking the dog, and I could hear her going, hey, boopy, boopy. I'll probably leave a little bit of that in there. But anyway, there was a weird cut, so we took a minute to hang out because I'd rather talk to her than the camera. But the camera's fun too. So we're getting back into what we were talking about before. We're talking about your tribe and the people around you, and you have to surround yourself with good people. If you surround yourself with bad things are going to happen. So if the 10 people that you surround yourself with, and you are the average of those 10 people, start scoring them. And this is not about judging people. Okay, guys, I don't want you to judge people because that's not what this is about. But you need to start scoring their value in your life. Now, the hard part of that is there's 2 scores you have to make. One, you have to score what value they're putting in your life, not what value they have in their life. They have immense value in their realm. We're just talking about their value to you. And then start to score them. And then score yourself your value to them. And then those top 10 people. Could be the top 10 friends on your social media. You could pick your top 10 people, but do that. Score them. And again, not negative stuff. You're not saying, well, that person's a blah, 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 blah. You're saying, what value I'm gonna score them. Okay, if I'm struggling, I need a friend to call. I can call them. Okay, that's 10 points. If I can rely on them to be a cool head in a financial decision, all those things, and say, hey, yeah, that's like an 80%. I think that person gives about 80% of our relationship, because I've just scored myself and said, yeah, I give about 60. So maybe I could do a little better. Maybe, so it's not about saying they're bad or good. It's about saying, what are they giving to me and what am I giving back? Because if that's really off balance, you have to do something. The first thing you can do is, hopefully it's not too off balance, because if you have somebody in your life, it should be a very good 50-50, and that's different than a married person. Okay, so this is not your spouse, because it's different animal. So we're talking about those people around you. So you start to average yourself out. So that if you grade every one of your friends, and that person got an 80, that person got a 60, that person used to be 100, but now they're a 2, and so you see, you start to grade them. People can change differently in your life too. Sometimes people add a lot of value. Sometimes they add no value. Sometimes they suck value. And sometimes that's okay, because in friendships, things go back and forth. Love goes both ways. It has to. When it stops going both ways, it's not love, it's something else. So then you grade your friends. So this person got an 80, this person got a 75, this person got a 95, this person, and then find out what your score is, And you don't even have to add them up, or you don't even have to add your own score up. You can just look at their scores, and that's who you are. Because when you judge and you value your friends really well, you are them. So if you have a person in your life that's completely a wreck, and we all have them, they are going to bring your life down. And then you have people in your life that seem to have it together, and they bring your life up. The thing is sometimes the people that seem to have it together don't really have it together. You're just in a different state of your life, so you don't recognize that they're actually in the bottom of someone else's rung. So it's so different and so challenging, because, well, we're different. And we have to take care of ourselves. When you try to take care of too many people, you start to take away from yourself. Okay? That sounds a little selfish. But realize when you start to take away from yourself, then you start to take away from all the other people that you love. So let's say you have 10 friends, and one starts taking up more than 10% of your time. One starts to take up 20, and then 30. And then your relationships with those other 9 dwindle and start to fail. Well, the problem is those other 9 are the ones that you need to lean on. You need to lean on them when the other one is sucking your energy. And you chose to give all your energy to that person. Well, realize that you have to take care of yourself. You have to put your mask on first, and you have to take care of yourself. And then recognize all the people you are directly responsible for, because I'm going to give you a hint. Most of you, it's not as many people as you think. It's really you, your spouse, and your children. And in some cases, there's other people, but who are you responsible for? That was my list. Ask yourself what your list is. And ask yourself, if you graded all your friends, would you pass the test in that group project? Would you be passing or failing? Because if you have some of you might know this, it takes a lot of A's to counteract 0, like 0%. So it takes a lot of effort. So, where are you at? Grade your friends, top 10, and that's where you are. So until next time, work hard, be kind, and have fun.